What's going on?
Shoot, late man. My bad. It's on me, everybody. Welcome to the lounge. I'm Chevalier. That's Ray True Life. We back for another Tuesday, another conversation right here on the lounge. First of all, let me apologize for being late, but my daughter had volleyball tonight, bro. I had to
That's
had to be there
important.
for that first game, bro. I had to be there for that
That-
first game.
That's important. You got to be there. You got to be there for the
Got to
first.
be there. Got to be there, man. She killed the game too, but I got some stuff I want to get off my chest though, but
We got to get this
you know.
test. We got to get this toast first. We got to get this toast first.
Yeah. Uh, your
So
turn.
water, nice. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you because you don't drink a
Thank you.
lot of it. That toast to Chevalier's kidneys because he finally put a little water in that system.
Hey y'all gotta stop listening to Ray when he makes this shit up like he's the healthy one.
when the last time y'all seen? When last time y'all seen this motherfucker drink water?
You have it. You have it because I try to
Exactly.
drink liquor. I try to drink liquor and spirits on the lounge because that's what you do in the lounge. You don't drink water. But other times when I'm not on the lounge, because there is life outside the lounge, I'm drinking water. I'm
I ain't
drinking
never
water.
seen it. You got
You
something to get
seen
off
it.
your chest, man?
Yeah, run the clip, man. Run.
Get it off your chest.
So here's my thing I need to get off my chest. Why do we still have parents arguing with the goddamn referees, talking shit, getting loud, and it especially bothered me because it was my daughter that they was mad about. Because one of the girls from the opposing team, I guess she was supposed to be the best girl on the team, but when she served that ball, my daughter was waiting right there at the net. She spiked that bad fella back down over there, and I guess of course, it hit one of the girls in the face. And they were mad because they didn't call nothing. I'm like, she got to get out the way. I mean, she got to get out the way. So the dude was standing down there yelling, "Hey, what is that? What is that? What do you mean, what is that?" I
It's
tried to
violent.
be cool. I tried to be cool. He was yelling and stuff, and I looked down there, man. I was like, "Hey, man, shut the fuck up, man." Talking about I mean, these are girls, man. I, well, it's your girl that did it. I said, "That's true. That's true. You need
Well,
to teach. You need to teach your daughter to be tougher.
you can teach your daughter how to not take balls to the face. But
Yeah, or move. She could have moved. I mean, she could have moved. What is Iron Lungs? He says, Chev, do you have an answer for my aforementioned question? Like, I don't remember the question, bro. What was his question?
I don't know. He ain't put the question in here, or it didn't
Yeah,
come through.
yeah. I don't know the answer to the question. I didn't see the question, bro. Put it in there now.
He said it's called entitlement.
Ah, there it is. Well, there it is. That would probably be exactly what that was. But what he was about to be is entitled to a Class A ass whooping, and he kept on talking out there on the side. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that guy.
Yes,
My
you did.
daughter,
Yes, you
hey,
did.
my daughter looked over at me and she was like, "Sit down, Dad." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I got you." I sent it to you directly before the live, bro. I was late. I came in, grabbed my iPad and all my stuff, and ran out on the thing, so I didn't see it, man. Please forgive me. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't get
So
to see it.
that's it. You ain't got nothing else.
No, that's it, man. I just was tripping on that, man. And it was the first game of the season. So it's the first game of the season. Actually, it was the second game because we beat them in the first game 30 minutes before that. They do the best of three. We blew them out in the first game. So it was the first play of the second game. And, I guess he wasn't happy about, his daughter taking that spike to the face. But all I can say, she needs to learn how to move.
You
My
right about that.
affirmation question was, what type of time are we in
Right.
tonight? What type of time?
Damn, you read like the slow kid in class who everybody throw their hands up when it's time to read. My aforementioned question was, what type of time are we on tonight? He said, I need to know if I'm answering his iron lungs or the kingmaker tonight.
Shit, whichever one you choose to be. Whoever you choose to be, whoever you want to be.
You right about that.
Last
So
time Iron Lungs came in here, he started talking about lipstick in the lounge. We got then the comments was going so fast across there. You know,
matter of
the
fact,
comments was going fast across there, man. I was
matter of
like,
fact, Iron Lungs, go to the broadcast channel and hit the link and come on in here.
yeah, man, you
uh,
boy, you started talking about lipstick in the lounge and the negativity of it, boy. You pissed off some sisters out there, man.
Kaza say he on timeout.
Yeah, well, he like King. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. He say send
Well,
him the link. It's in the
all right,
broadcast channel, man. It's the lounge.
I'm gonna send it to you. Um, go ahead on and introduce this topic, and then we'll get we got some guests in here already.
Gotcha. So today, Ray sent me a video from the Breakfast Club of Tyrese actually dealing with some grief, and they were asking him some questions, and he literally broke down, So to give you some context on it, in the words of Damon from Charlotte Cigar Week, he they brought up the thing about him losing his mom. He lost both his sisters. He then lost Paul Walker, lost both his wives. He's had a considerable amount of loss within about a 10, 12 year period, man. And they were asking him how he was dealing with it. And he really wasn't. He really wasn't. And most of the things that they described, it's been a while since they happened. But all of these years, people have been wondering why he's been acting so strange. And it's because he's never learned how to process that grief. And I know we've had conversations on men handling grief and things like that before, but based on our conversation today, we felt like we need to bring it back because there's a lot of people just in our circle that are dealing with traumatic situations and grief and not having anywhere to reach out and talk. And so we decided we wanted to light up some cigars, you know, bring about our spirits. And because Ray says I'm drinking water, so I want to cleanse myself. We're gonna talk about how do we handle grief? How do we handle grief as men? How do we handle grief as people as a whole, and what that looks like for us, and what could we do better? To kind of move the needle forward on that, to get past some of the stereotypes and the ego based teachings of our parents, as it relates to men and grief. So that's kind of where we at tonight.
So that's our topic, and let's go on and get our guests in here. We
Go
got
ahead,
Mac the Cigar Advocate,
Bill.
Hey,
Julian back up in here, and
yo,
Smoking Sarah. What's
Fela,
that?
Fela. Let the people say, Fela,
Here,
Fela.
here he go. He that water got him happy today. That's weird. I ain't never seen him on water.
I'm on that water,
Listen,
man.
I'm waiting on him to sing me happy birthday.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
That don't mean nothing.
You want me to sing you happy birthday for real?
Nigga, yeah.
Now?
Go on.
No, just anytime. I'm just
Go
waiting
ahead.
for
No, go ahead right now.
Man, y'all know I can't sing, man.
First of all, if y'all don't know, yesterday was Sarah's birthday. So we're gonna
Yes,
toast to
yesterday
Sarah
was her
for her
birthday.
birthday. We're gonna toast to Sarah for her
We're gonna
birthday.
toast. I'm gonna sing a happy
First of
birthday.
all, first of all.
All right, Sarah, you ready?
Yeah, come on with it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. That's all I got.
All right. That was all I need.
Thank you, baby. Now
Good.
you at 30, you
Yeah.
30 now, right?
I'm beyond 30. I'm 37 now.
Oh, you 30.
Nah, I hard for these all.
Why Ray look so much older than you?
nah, I got mine. Nah, you got it.
I am.
He is.
But you look like you're like 5 years older than her when you're only really like one or two.
Am I only like 2 years older than you?
Yeah, you're only 2 years older than
You
Sarah.
are only 2 years older than me.
You're only 2 years older than Sarah, and you look like you're like 54. Somebody
But
asked me the
but
other day,
but
how old is Ray? I was
fair,
like 54, 55.
to be fair, I think it's the bald head.
That's what it is.
Wait, that's
I
crazy.
think
Wait, wait,
bald head.
hold on.
Wait,
So
wait,
the
wait
bald
a
head makes us
minute.
look older?
Wait a
As
minute.
well as men stress out a lot more than women do.
That's true.
So he's aged because of the stress that men have, which takes us to the point of y'all having to talk y'all grief out better.
I like appreciate you.
Wait, feedback is killing me.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
turn
what's
my
all that
mic off.
noise?
That's Iron Lungs in the lounge.
Oh, what's up? What's up?
There it is.
There it is.
Bruno Lyons said he was waiting for the woo 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 like Jeffrey Osborne.
Can you woo woo woo?
Ooh,
so
Oh man.
so anyway, that kind of leads us in our topic about dealing with grief, and not everybody deals with it the same way. Some people never deal with it. Some people can deal with it and move on, and some people just never look it in the face and keep going.
facts. But you know what though? Chevy touched on something to me that is extremely real, and I don't think people realize it. Grief has no time limit. Just
True.
because he lost them however long ago it was, right? That
Right.
literally don't mean nothing. Grief, if you've really lost somebody, then you know that grief comes in waves. One minute
Yeah,
you can be absolutely fine. The next minute that bitch come in like wave number 7 and knock your ass back where you thought you were, back where you thought you had healed from. And I think people have to be real in dealing with people and their
who
grief
breathing
and
into
the
the
way that they
microphone?
respond because everybody's process is different. Y'all have been on lives with me where I talk about my parents. I lost my parents when I was a child. How old am
Right.
I now? It still affects me the same as if it was whatever, but it's because grief has no time limit. And honestly, losing some people, you'll never be the same after that. Regardless of how much counseling, whatever, you will never go back to the original whatever you were.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Let me ask you something, Sarah, about that. As the only woman on here, why do you think that men process grief differently than women?
Expectations. If I could keep it a
Elaborate.
buck, I mean,
Hmm.
people know, if you know me, while I am a girl's girl, I advocate tough for the men in my life.
That's real
Simply
talk.
because I feel like you all never get a fair shake. Especially men of color. The idea of having to be strong, of having to be idyllic, of having to be damn near stoic is actually a handicap to y'all. Which is why when women talk about needing their man to be vulnerable, I always ask if they've ever created the space for your man to be vulnerable, because you all are not given the space to really exercise your feelings, right? Like let's think about it. Since we were talking about Tyrese, when he first started displaying signs of grief, nobody gave him the grace of it being grief.
Yeah,
Everybody said, "Oh my God, he's
Right.
crazy. He's losing his mind. Somebody get this boy a pill." No, somebody get a nigga a hug. Somebody let that man grieve. Somebody let that man cry in peace. As a matter of fact, somebody be a friend enough to say, "Hey, maybe let's not get in front of the cameras right now because we're going through some things."
right.
Right? And I really feel like men have still not been given a chance to have as much of a safe space as y'all deserve.
I agree.
Yeah,
I,
I agree
I
with all
I
of that.
agree. But I think some of that lies on our shoulders too. Maybe,
Only because you all
because of
accept it.
ego.
Only
Yeah.
because you all accept that as what's supposed to be the norm. Not necessarily because, oh God. Okay.
Come on
So
with it.
uh,
Come on.
the reason why women have the ability of being vulnerable is because men have allowed us the space to be that. as well as because we make up excuses for continuing to do the things that we do and behave the way that we behave, right? So I feel like sometimes, in as much as men advocate for us to have certain spaces and to cover us, anytime a man doesn't have room to grieve properly or to process his feelings properly, I always blame the women in their life.
Mm.
What is it about you to where that man doesn't feel comfortable? What is it about you that you have not given that man a moment to express the things that he needs to express, right? Now, bitches is going to be mad at me for this, but I don't care.
I'm looking at the comments, seeing, waiting for them to roll.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
looking
gonna
for
wait.
him too. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting on
Li-
it.
Listen, don't be mad at me, okay? But it's facts because I want you to look at any woman who's questioning what I'm saying right now. I want to look at how you responded to last man, the way you responded to a man the last time one felt comfortable enough to express his feelings to you. Right now, luckily for me, it's a little bit easier because I don't deal with men, I deal with women, right? But when I was dealing with men, it was imperative to me because I know what happens when men don't have the space that they need to process their feelings healthily. That shit turns real ugly with y'all real quick. Little backstory for those who don't know, I do have a father who committed suicide. That's one. I have a brother who's been in and out of mental institutions. That's two. And I myself have gone through a great series of grief and depression and so on and so forth. A lot of people know my story, some people don't. But I say that because I've seen it and I know it to be true. Um, Men will go one or two ways. You either get extremely depressed or violent if you don't have that proper regulation. And the last thing that I want to see is any of the brothers that I've ever been associated with to go either one of those two ways. So that's why I'm saying it in the way that I'm saying it. But it's because you all have not advocated for yourself as well as y'all don't have the right women advocating for you too.
Hmm.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Do you guys think, based on what Sarah is saying, that this is a generational thing? So we got a couple different generations in here. So Bill, you're here. I always like to get your opinion. Do you feel like, say, from an older generation that, and most of us are probably going to say yeah, but do you feel like, um, the way men are taught to process grief and process their emotions back in your day, uh, differs from what they're probably being taught today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can remember my father on many occasions saying, lick your wounds, tape an aspirin to it, and get on. That was it. There was, you had to be strong. You couldn't show weakness. And I'm coming from being born in the 60s. He was born in 1917. So you can imagine what his father was like.
Yeah, yeah, man. I was born in '67. I'll tell you something. I don't think I can ever remember a conversation about how to deal with anything. I came from a background with a lot of domestic violence and stuff, and everybody always worried more about how it affected my sister. They didn't worry about how it affected me. So for me, me standing over in the corner as a kid, being afraid, I done seen all this shit. Nobody ever stopped to say, "Is he okay?" Everybody was like, "Hey, we got to get some help for his sister. We got to do this. We got to make sure his mom's okay." But in the meantime, you run along. I think a lot of experiences that men deal with in the past, kind of touch on that. Nobody. I guess it's just a cultural thing. I don't know of any culture, that does really pay attention to men and feelings and helping them process that. I don't know if y'all agree. If y'all know one, tell me because I don't think I know any.
Let me touch on something real quick. Keisha is absolutely right. At some point, men do have to take accountability to create the spaces for themselves. But I also think that women still should advocate for them in a way, right? So I agree with you, sis. But I do feel like we also play a part in advocating for them.
Yeah.
Iron Lungs had something to say. What you had to say, bro? You wanted to chime in.
He got to walk away first. He got to get to a quiet place.
Yeah. That what he said. He sent the message and let me know when I can talk so I can get to a quieter spot.
Supposed to give him at least 60 seconds.
See, that's what we needed, a quiet place.
Right.
Right.
Agreed.
And then we
But
lost.
let's not act like women don't take on some of those.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
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 We got you.
All right. Sorry, I just needed to walk away. It's a Yankee game tonight, so it's a little loud. But let me start out by saying, being one of the younger men on the panel,
Him?
I'm 40, right? I'm 40 now, and
Yeah, we younger.
growing
We
up.
young.
Go ahead.
No, I say we younger. Go ahead. I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I just had to put that out there for Chev.
Right.
I wanted to make that clear.
Right.
I wanted to get that out the way first. But being 40, I had the luxury of having my grandfather in my life for a short period of time, as well as my father, but learning both of those lessons coming from two different individuals and two different generations. Like the other gentleman said, I was told, being the only male in my generation, or the eldest male actually, there's a certain way that you handle things, right, as a man. And
Right.
what I mean by that in particular is that, you take it on your chin, you take it on the chin, you make your mistakes, but you move on. You don't complain. We don't have room and or space to complain. You got to get to it, right? Good, bad, and indifferent.
Right.
And you protect the women in your life. So off of that alone, my process of grieving and or handling situations, I would attribute to a lot of the men, the elder men in my life, is I bury things personally, right? I've dealt with death very early on in life on a personal basis, being the person to either see a person take their last breath and or bring the matriarch of the family as early as 8. And I've been dealing with that from that point until now, right? So when I deal with things that are not necessarily comfortable for me personally, as far as emotions are concerned, I bury them. My grieving process is getting the family through whatever the time calls for. So if it said death, then let me get all of the business situated. Let me get everybody the way they need to be. And I'm the strong one for everybody else to lean on. I don't get the opportunity to cry or to show a level of weakness in those moments because I have to be everyone else's strength.
Is that a
The
weakness?
adverse. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that a weakness though?
It was
It all depends
perceived
on
as one.
right. It all depends on the person's perspective. And what I feel about perspective in life on a general aspect is perception is limited to a person's or an individual's level of understanding. So if you don't understand what this role calls for and the weight that I carry and the means that I choose to go about the process of it all, then you'll never understand why I am the way that I am. And if I come and I speak to you from my comfort zone, if it's unfamiliar to you, then you'll see it to be a problem, or that I'm handling it the wrong way, or in some cases that my maturity level isn't what you deem it to be in those moments because you've never had to deal with it,
Right.
right? If I fall on hard times, which I have 10 times over in my life, I know that not only is there no one around to help me through mine, but I definitely don't have a woman in my life thus far to where I should lean on. And if I am leaning on her, then I'm falling subject to whatever she deems necessary. You know what I'm saying? As far as helping me. And if it's bad for me, then I'm responsible for making that choice.
Mm.
So to your point, the young lady in the panel, yeah, there is a lot of times to where women don't necessarily create the safe space for a man. And I also agree with the man does have a certain level of responsibility to set the tone for said space to be created for him. But if I'm an alpha or a dominant man dealing with a passive and or alpha woman that is dealing with some level of trauma and hasn't seen that side of a man, and you don't know how to receive what I'm bringing to the table, that creates tension and turmoil between you and I. Therefore, your understanding
Is off.
allows you to perceive me to be in a way that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Iron Lungs?
But as a black man, sure.
So you say that
Go
your
ahead.
verse hoping is to bury. When was the last time you've gone back and
I
looked at
bury.
what?
Um, the most recent thing that I've had to deal with is the relationship between my father and I.
Okay.
And that was maybe 6, 7 years ago,
Hmm.
prior to me having my child. Um, I had a certain level of expectation of what a father should be, and in the way that a parent, in my vantage point, should go about dealing with the only son and the choices that he made in life. But it took me to mature to a certain level of manhood to understand that I can't hold him responsible in the way that I did for the choices that he made for me, because more times than none, as men, from my vantage point, we only we only exhibit through the examples of those that preceded us or that
Yep.
we've held as the example, right? So
Yeah.
the way that my grandfather and his uncles and or men in his life treated him, he grew to be the man that he was, and he then passed that on to me. So perfect example. I've been an athlete all my life up until the point that I couldn't be.
Hmm.
My father went to two basketball games. One of them was by mistake, just like literally in passing. And that's one of the many things that I held against him, just as his only son, but as an athlete, that I felt that he should have been a part of. Right? I didn't have the opportunity to be what generations after me, or even some aligned with me, feel is the perfect example of a present father. I didn't have a
Right.
childhood. I worked as early as 9 years old. I was working like with wages.
I think
So,
there's laws against that.
but you get, yeah, yeah, there is, especially in this day and age, but it wasn't then, and I'm sure that it wasn't before me. But I say all of that to say,
Say I had a job at 10, so I get it.
Yep.
I
right. But I
swear
say
they
all of
got
that to
laws against
say,
that.
being the only male in my generation at the time and having four sisters, right? I had to provide. I had to learn what it took to be a man and to make a way for myself. So, yeah, I had friends that was outside playing every day and got to experience things that a quote unquote child experience. That wasn't my life. I had to go out and get it, and actually was made fun of because I was going out to get it. But as a man, in hindsight, and I look back at all of the skill sets that I have and all of the industries that I've been a part of, and whatever, the things that he taught me prepared me for that level of life and
Yeah.
manhood, to be able to carry the burdens that I have to carry for my family
Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
individual. But it was also a set expectation from him.
Right.
It wasn't verbal, but it was through his actions.
Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna
I
we're
get
gonna we're gonna take a quick break, and then I want to get into some of these comments. So, um, you know what? I'm gonna get a splash page. So after the commercials, it'll flash across and be like I'm thinking out loud. Anyway, um, some of these comments. Uh, so in particular, so for this one, my wife says most of the time it's men calling other men weak when they express emotions. That opens the door of revolving excuses to not grow and constantly blame others. And I think in that instance, that's definitely like the other half of the what is it? The other half of the onion, whatever. It's the other half of it
Other side of
because
the coin.
that too, whatever. I don't know these old people terms, Sarah. Don't. I was trying to use one to
Hey,
make to
hey,
make
I
to
forgot you
make
could see my
Chevalier.
face.
I was trying to use one to make
I
Chevalier
forgot
and Matt comfortable,
my bad.
but whatever. So no, I think that that's one of the things that's definitely a big problem as well. Um, so outside of a relationship, right? If if your friends are calling you weak or making fun of you for um and not actively trying to help you and listen to you, that's well, first off, they're not your friends. Secondly, that's a huge problem because for the most part, we're all raised the same. For the most part, we're all raised the same. Throw some dirt on it, keep going, suck it up. You a man, be a man. And as we're growing, some of us mature differently, and they get into okay, well, I'm gonna express my emotions. These are my friends. I'm going through something. I'm gonna lean on my friends or who you think are your friends, and you reach out to them and you tell them something, hoping that your friends are gonna support you and help you through it. And man, you weak. Get over that. You weak. Get over that shit. And what happens is, uh, you start to, as Iron Lung said, um, bury it, and you start to hold on to these things until they become so heavy that you can't carry it anymore, right? And I think that what we need to do is instead of saying that people who we knew for a long time are our friends, if they haven't, we got to put some weight on that word friend, first of all. If they
Right.
haven't proven that they're a friend, if I can't come to you and talk to you about something, if I can't lean on you about something, you're not a friend. If you're not there for me in the time of need, you ain't a friend. You just a motherfucker I know.
You know what that also
Right.
sounds like? That sounds like males are saying that. Boys are saying that, not necessarily emotionally intelligent men
Uh,
talking.
adult males are saying
Right?
that.
Adult,
It's-
like act. Well, no, I'm not even gonna call you adult because you could be an adult and lack the emotional intelligence required to be
And
a
be
man.
a silly ass. And be
yeah,
silly.
yeah.
Age don't mean shit. Hell, sometimes I question Chevy's elder status.
Only because I said Pasita. That's the only reason that you
we're not going back down that
we're not
road.
It's
going down that rabbit hole,
put it in
but I
a
know
box.
what
We put that in a box.
That's definitely in the box. But
yeah, yeah.
I
Moving right
think
along though.
yeah,
Is that a
I think
pass
we
caught out of
we
bounds?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
I think
That's hey Bill, that was a couple years ago.
That was the start of this thing.
yeah, we're
We
not
ain't
going
going
back
back over
down
there.
that way.
Because
Um,
I'll be dealing with some grief. I
so
won't be able to process them emotions. Let
so
me
what
tell you.
so like if I'm going through something, I know that I have people in my corner who I can lean on and who ain't going, man, grow up, suck that shit up and move on. You know what I'm saying? If I had those people, I would be carrying a lot more weight than I already do. But we're already taught to hold on to shit. Don't let them see you cry. Don't let them see you weak.
Yeah.
You know. And as we grow up, if we don't see others do, having that type of circle, then we won't have it until we're either it's too late or we're forced to have it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
I
How you
for
think one
feel?
of the things
Chevalier
we
and
have
I,
to
sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Bill.
Chevalier. For guys in our age group, you know, so I'm including you now.
100 plus.
Um, you can't learn something that you don't see. If you don't have a role model that's
Right.
displaying it for you, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I think as time has gone on, it's slowly correcting itself. There are venues and avenues for men to be able to speak out in. They're few and far between, but they are there. And my grandchildren will be far better at doing this than I was or my grandfather.
I agree. I think I do believe one thing. If you can sit down and you can understand that you haven't been taught something, you already know what you need to do. You already recognize the problem. Sometimes when we talk about this issue, people will say, well, I was never taught to process my emotions. The fact that you can sit there and relate that to a situation that you might have just gone through, in my opinion, you already know it's a problem.
Yep.
So that's when I think about what Mike Keisha Watson was saying about, accountability, realizing accountability as a man and saying, I gotta get some help for myself. There's a lot of men, I won't say just a lot of men, but there's a lot of people that realize they have a problem, but they tend to more uh wallow in the problem. They know it's a problem, but they don't reach out to get help, you know. And you can't say you didn't know when you realize there's a problem. What the people that I worry about are the people that don't realize they even have a problem,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they're not dealing with these emotions. And those are the people that lash out and they don't even realize why they're lashing out. But if you can vocalize that shit and say, yeah, I've never been taught, to deal with my grief, that means you recognize you got a problem and you need to be accountable to yourself to go out and get some help.
Ain't that the first step? Admitting you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. What you got, Julian?
Yeah, as far as, as men dealing with grief and just having a little frustration at all, it's just you have to shake you have to always shake it off, and just like everyone else, I'm dealing with it, just having a space where someone can fully understand you. It's like, I can talk to my parents, my older brother, but sometimes they don't fully understand because they're in a different light that I am in. And so I definitely get it that, we need areas to, vocalize our frustrations and griefs, but at the same time, the way I was grew up, you know, I was taught to be strong and don't let your feelings hold you back for too long.
Yep.
So it's just a balance that we got to go through when it comes to dealing with grief and emotion and moving forward. It's the balance because people just like to stay on one side and hold the weight, and you need that balance.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely need to be able to balance it. Um, but you don't want the grief to outweigh anything else. 'Cause once it begins to outweigh other things, now you're almost stuck. You might drown in it. And
Yep.
what you don't want to do is drown in it, because then things that should never be an option become an option.
Right.
You know, things that you would never do before become.
an option.
easy. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it
Yeah.
becomes an option. It becomes
Right.
easy to do things that you would never do before. Things you would never say before. It becomes second nature to just say those things because you're drowning in stuff that you can't process. You know, um,
Yep.
and I think one of the things that we have to do is take that time to process the things that we're going through. Because if we don't ever process it, then it's just sitting there. You know, and you get this
Right.
backlog of all of this shit that you're dealing with. And again, that weight gets heavy, and we already carry weight.
Yep.
We beat ourselves up all day long,
That's
and
true.
then to have
Yeah.
added it just keeps getting heavier
Yeah.
and heavier and heavier. And I don't care how strong you are, we all have a breaking point,
That
Yes.
part.
Yep.
Yes.
I think
and
Sarah said it best when she said grief has no time limit,
It don't.
Mhm.
and that, but yet for a man, get on with it, tape an aspirin to it. The
Right.
perceived expectation of being able to move past it in a short period of time is why it
Mhm.
gets buried because you don't know how to deal with it, so you just bury it.
Exactly. And
That's
You
then
know,
it
true.
comes back and when you least expect it and kicks you clean in the nuts.
yeah.
Yep.
Ooh,
But
yes.
I can't relate to the cleaning the nuts part,
I would hope not.
but I mean, if it's similar to a punch in the titty, I get it, right?
Yeah.
Now, now, to add a little bit of a coping skill to this, right? Because for those who don't know, I used to work in the mental health care field, right? When I feel like my grief is getting out of balance, I do something called practice. So I literally take into account the things that I have to be grateful for in that moment to help outweigh the down feelings of grief, right?
Mhm.
Um, so for those who I think some of my brothers might know, but a couple weeks ago I got diagnosed with something kind of major. Technically not even supposed to be smoking right now, but it is what it is because this is what my coping skill. Now, I was very sad about it because it's my birthday. I can't travel out of the country. It's a lot of different things. So that opens up the door of feeling different things that you were also might have been sad about coming on in. And some of that was grief. So what was it that I
Hmm.
had to be grateful for in the moment where I felt like I was losing everything? In the moment that I was grieving some of the things that I was losing, right? And it literally makes you sit back and take into account how much in life we actually do need to take a moment to be grateful for and express that gratitude for, because you really don't pay attention to a lot of the things that are simple until something daunting comes, some of those things that we're grieving. So like you literally have to sit back and take stock of the fact that, you know what, so what, I'm not going to Panama, I still got my home. So
Mhm.
what, I don't have this, bitch, I still got my job. So what, I don't have this, okay, that's fine. We still, like, the list can literally go on and on and on. I grieve my parents regularly. I grieve my grandparents regularly. I lost my last grandparent last year.
Yeah.
Grieved the hell
Right.
out of that. That was my father's father, the hell out of that, because I had just found him in my 30s.
Mhm.
Right, and
Mhm.
I had thought that everybody was gone, so to have that gift back, I was like, yes, I got a piece of my daddy here. When he died, I felt like I was grieving my father all over again, right?
Wow.
Now what makes it a little bit different for me, and the reason why I'm gonna get off here in a second, because this does need to be a man. I was always taught not to grieve. I wasn't one of those girls that was allowed to be soft. I wasn't allowed to be soft at all. What you crying for? What you crying for?
Mhm.
Toughen up. Toughen the fuck up. Ain't nothing in this life gonna be given to you. Not even a smile. So you might as well just go ahead, give yourself 5 minutes to cry, and then it's time to move the fuck on. That's the type of energy that I was given. Right. And sometimes I
Yep.
literally had to sit back with that and be like, hold on. Then y'all question why I'm gay. Y'all literally turned me into a little nigga. Thank you. Y'all literally turned me into a man emotionally. Thank you for making, and don't get me wrong, because sometimes I am grateful that I could be so tough. But then sometimes I literally got to sit back and be like, I wish I was a soft place to land sometimes. I really do wish I was a soft place to land. And because sometimes I'm not, right? But it's those coping skills and those gratitude practices that helped me overall process these different phases of grief. And my prayer for anybody in this life is to, if you don't have your safe spaces, to create one of your own, right? Because you're all deserving. And to give yourself a moment to actually feel the shit. Because
Yeah.
burying it, that don't do you no good.
Nope.
Right.
Good.
That's real talk.
Yeah. It
Now,
don't do you no good at all.
I'm gonna let y'all men talk about the way that y'all want to talk about it, including getting hit in the nuts and all that stuff, because I can't. And I love you guys. I love you guys. I
Love you
wish
too, buddy.
We love you too.
prosperity for all y'all.
Happy birthday again to you.
Yes. Happy birthday to you
Happy
again.
birthday.
Bye.
You know,
Well,
Sarah gives some real unique perspective sometimes to some issues when you look at some of the things she's been through. And as a man, you know, a lot of times when I talk to her and, I talk to her on the show or I'm talking to her off of the show, whatever, um, it makes me almost look at myself when I'm dealing with stuff and say the things that we say we shouldn't say, toughen up, if this young lady who's been through a life of shit, just fucking trauma, you know, can have this outlook, then I should be able to, process my feelings and keep it pushing, But on the flip side of that, I always find myself when I'm doing that type of thing and having that type of self-talk with myself that I'm still burying things, man. And I think
yeah.
that's one of the things that we have to really focus on as men. We have to change our self-talk. We got to have positive self-talk in those quiet moments because Ray, you said something interesting a little while ago. A lot of times it's hard to find people that you can be completely vulnerable with as a man, whether it's a man or a woman. It's hard to find those people. It's a journey to do that. And then once you find, because that's usually your tribe, once you find those people, then you want to keep those people in your life. And so,
I
I
married
definitely
mine.
think there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing for even, when you look at people, because I got to claim it, our generation, Bill,
Hmm.
that
Old folks.
yeah, I think it's harder for us to do that. I've come a long way in a short time, but I still struggle with, opening up and really, letting my feelings out because I don't want to have to hear this shit again,
No, you
Hmm.
don't. You
against me.
cry. You cry on a regular.
I do cry, but
Every
sometimes when
Thursday
I'm
at six
crying, I'm not
thirty.
crying. I'm not
Every
crying for what you think I'm crying about. I'm crying because I want to stab a motherfucker.
every Friday at 6:30, you'll shed a few tears.
I don't know. He didn't look like he was crying in that video the other day.
Oh, he talking about the deal with Cigar Rockstar.
Yeah.
So before we go to the vibe, let me put some context to that.
Nope.
Ray and I did a show.
Nope.
We did a show. We did one of our first lounges, and right, lounge started at 7 o'clock back then. And Cigar Rockstar calls me on the phone about 6:40, talking about I guess I got to be bald headed and black with a beard to be on y'all show. And I said, what? I said, you got to be what? He says, bald headed and black, I guess, with a nappy beard. I said, nappy beard? I said, this good hair, bro. I said, what are you talking about?
We
And
got it.
so me and Ray, I said, man, I'm getting off the phone with you. We got to get ready for the loud. So I called Ray up. I said, dude, we got to roast him some kind of way. And we came up with that, and we did that at the beginning of the show. And so we ran it. I recorded it, and then I went back and put some music to mine, at the end of the after the show and posted it. And it popped up in my memories the other day because the day that I posted it was 2 years after we did it. And I reposted it, now, and our platforms are much bigger, individually and collectively with the lounge.
Yours is.
Our platforms are much bigger collectively. And so when I posted that, it hit all the way different this time, man. I looked at that after about 30 minutes. There's like 200 comments on there. I was like, what the hell? But hey, Rockstar, he always says, I'm so enigmatic.
with his with his skirt on and his blouse.
With his skirt on. He have a skirt. I don't own a skirt. But I had some swimming trunks with some kiwis on it. And I put those on with some high tops and I grabbed a set of my
Hey man,
wife's
stop sneezing in
pearls.
your nose while we on the show.
Man, it's itching, man. Shit. We family, dude. It's itching, dude.
Man,
I
it's
cut
time
the
for the
hair
vibe.
out.
I'm not finna sit up here and
I'm
watch.
ready, dude. Come on. All right, so this is the vibe. This is that time when we relight our cigars, we repour our drinks, we kick back and chill to a smooth groove. I really didn't have anything that I wanted to play that could kind of hit the topic, so I just hit a little Al Green. You ought to be with me. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the vibe.
Sitting on here digging in your damn nose while we on the show.
And they're picking a winner.
That's old people shit.
Gonna
That's
pick,
old
gonna
people
pick,
shit.
gonna pick a piece of your brain out. Stay out your nose.
Well, if anybody didn't notice it, they know it now.
Whatever. Everybody noticed it. I'm just gonna point out on it. You know that.
It don't diminish my sexy, man.
We're gonna put your sexy in a box.
Right?
I don't want to hear that no more. What you smoking on, Bill?
I'm smoking on a Drew Estate Factory Maduros. These are great yard guards.
Can you hear? What you smoking, Chevalier?
Oh, I'm smoking a Heart of a Lion, the Lioness. It's a sweet tip. Good cigar, but I don't know if you notice, I keep having to relight it. I don't know why. I'm
Because
having to relight it a lot.
your humidity probably was too damn high.
Yeah. I had this one in Felicia's humidor, so this is one of the reasons why I put it in there, but I haven't had it very long. And sometimes when I get cigars for him, I got to let him sit for a couple of weeks before I smoke them. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking the Open Sex Destro Siglo. Hope I said that right.
Nice.
Boy, you sure been hitting them open sexes a lot, boy. That's when you know people got that money. When they got all open sexes in their thing.
I've only ever had two.
Bro, the last 3 times I talked to you, you was smoking one.
No, what?
Yeah, unless you cut it off and put it back in the humidor and then brought it back later, you was smoking one. Because I know you cheap like it. You'll cut that shit off and then put it back in the humidor.
Look. If I got $33, I will.
Well, I got a couple.
No lie,
I got
he's smoking the signature now by someone he's heard of. I wonder who that was.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Could that be that guy Raymond Watson?
I think it is. I think
you need to change the name. You need to say the signature by Ray Watson, R. Watson or something.
Nope.
I think so.
I ain't gonna change that.
That name sounds very I love the way Markeisha Watson says it. Yeah, for y'all that don't know, when she says his name, we're all chilling together. She says Raymond. Raymond. What is Raymond doing out there? Well, he's trying to smoke a cigar, Markeisha Watson. Tell Raymond to come inside, please.
You don't say it quite like that.
If you get the full name, full first name and surname, you know you're in trouble.
Uh-huh. She says it just like that. She calls it out just like that. And so I have to say it slower because she can say Raymond really fast. I can't say it really fast like that because I'm old. and I
Push
got a little
forward.
country thing going on. But I have to say, Raymond.
What, don't you don't we're not gonna roll no R's no more.
I mean, sometimes it sounds like she's rolling her R's when she says
It
it.
ain't
But
never
back to
sounded
the topic.
like he's rolling
Back
no
to the topic. I'm not gonna get on you like that. But I wanted to kind of touch a different side of it. We kind of delve into that a little bit a few minutes ago, but the effects of the lack of communication and dealing with grief, people wanting to do things like harm themselves. How do we uh how do you guys approach that when you're in that situation? I was in that situation again recently, and all I could do was say, hey man, look, it just ain't that bad. And it's ironic because you guys said, like Sarah said, you got to focus on all the things that you do have and what is your
Mhm.
purpose. I found myself when I was talking to my friends saying, what is your purpose? Before you start talking about ending it all, have you completed or have you realized your purpose and completed the mission based on your purpose? If you can't say you did that, then life is not over for you yet. You're just going through a rough time.
but also
And
is it worth it? Like is what you're planning to end it all over? Is that thing worth it? Will you know what I'm saying?
right,
Trouble don't last always, and I'm gonna say it. But the thing is, you have to understand, like it's not worth it. The think about the people who are here. Think about the people who love you. Think about the people who depend on
right.
you. As opposed to just have you fulfilled your purpose and what is your purpose? Because if you ask somebody that who's actively in that space and they're moving rapidly towards that, and you ask them about you know what is your purpose, you might get, I don't know and I don't care, or
Well,
Yep.
you
have
usually
you
get that.
have
Yep.
you have you have you fulfilled your purpose? And they might say, yeah, I'm done, because they're speaking out of a place of emotion, right? So what you have to first find the root of the issue, and then you have to work through that, right?
Yeah.
Because when people get to that point, a lot of times when you are quote unquote helping, you know, you're not really helping. Oh man, that's stupid. Don't say that shit. That's dumb. Don't why you saying that shit? Don't do that. That's stupid. Not helping.
You're minimizing their feelings and their
Yep.
thoughts.
Yep.
Exactly.
People don't realize they feel like, well, you know me, you know what I mean. And I think in those situations, it can't be about them knowing me and knowing what I mean. I got to speak with intention, and be careful and choose my words carefully. And when I was in that situation, that's what I was probably most careful about is what my responses was. And I found myself, instead of trying to give advice, I found myself trying to ask more questions that were leading my friend into realizing that there is a purpose for your life still that you've not accomplished yet. I tried to use things that I know about our friendship from our friendship to say, hey, you have some things that is worth living for, definitely. But right now, it doesn't seem like do you realize what they are? Can you tell me what those things are? What do you live for? What drives you on a daily basis to persevere what's driven you to persevere so far? Tell
Yep.
me that. Those are the kind of things that I think we have to, when we encounter those types of situations, even in self-talk, we have to have that type of talk with ourselves to motivate ourselves, because we all get down.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
haven't experienced. We were talking about the thing with Tyrese today, and he was saying him losing his mom and his sisters and things like that. I've not experienced any of that. Like, I have both my parents, my siblings are all here. I've not experienced. I've experienced one loss, and that was my mother's twin. And even then, as hard as it was for me, because he was like a dad to me, I still have my dad and my mom. And
Yep.
so thank God. But I think we just really have to be careful with our words, when we're in that
Yep.
situation.
I had a friend many, many years ago. And again, this goes back to the whole topic of processing and burying and everything. And he was talking about ending it. And as soon as I realized that he wasn't kidding, like it wasn't just talk,
Mm-hmm.
um, I couldn't get him. I couldn't seem to reach him. And so I got a hold of the Suicide Prevention Center and asked them how to approach it. And through them, we managed to contact his sister, which actually she lived in Seattle, and got her and her husband to come up here to Vancouver. We did an intervention with them,
Mm-hmm.
and his sister was, to coin a phrase, was able to talk him off the ledge,
Right.
um, and that. Um, I don't know how he's doing now because it pretty much cost our friendship because he felt I betrayed him,
Right.
and I'm
Well,
sure
that was
that's
one of the things I was going to say something about that, Bill. I was going, whenever you do a situation like that, when you care about a friend, you got to be willing to lose them to save them.
yep.
Because I think in a lot of those situations, I've been in it a couple of times, and in each one of those situations, I lost a friend,
Yeah, because at
but they
that
still
point in
here.
time, they're still here, and at that point in time, they feel betrayed, and then I think they immediately go into denial, saying, "No, really wasn't going to do it." And so he had a long road ahead of him, and his sister and counseling got him through it. I know he's married. I know he has kids. None of that would have happened.
Yeah. I
But
think a lot of in that situation, even even though you 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 feel betrayed in that situation when um I think that there has to come a point when you have to realize that saved me.
Right.
mhm,
You have to realize that saved me. If you never realize that saved me, then you're still holding on to something.
yep,
If I have a friend who's going through that and I take them same steps and we no longer friends, that tells me that you still holding on to something. You might still be here. You might still be moving on. You might, but if we never reconnect, then and I'm no counselor, so I don't know, but I don't know, but I feel like you're still holding on to these things because why not ever say, hey man, I know I said these things, but I appreciate that,
mhm,
I appreciate you doing that and taking those steps.
Hmm.
I appreciate that I'm still here because of you. I thank you for that. You know,
yep,
I mean, I think
but it,
that's part of that burying that we were talking about.
yeah,
Even still,
that
because
should be part of the healing process, you would think.
exactly you
Right.
would think that.
And I think the thing is, again, from our age group and society and the way things were and the upbringing, like you say, you two have a relationship where you can talk to each other about anything.
Yeah.
And from my generation coming up and his, men just weren't like that unless they actually served together and saw combat together. Men didn't talk to each other that way.
That's true.
And so there are a lot of things that are changing as we move forward as a society and people. But there's a lot of things that we have to lose too, and let the kids and the generations coming up understand that this is okay. It's
Right.
okay to have these feelings. You can't wallow in it. I think was a term you used, Ray, earlier. You can't wallow in it and let it overtake your life. You do have to have the perspective of moving forward, I do have to get past this, but I'm going to have to do it on my own terms
Right. Right.
with the appropriate help and support.
So Cigars and Sneaks says that they're embarrassed. Um,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
but I understand why they would be embarrassed. But if you're my friend, right? If I'm your
Yep.
friend, like friends,
Yep.
I'm talking about the word with the weight on it, not just I know you. We're friends. And I tell you this, and I can't get to you, but I know somebody who can get to you. That means I'm concerned about you when I love you, when I'm trying to save your life, keep you from doing this, right? And if you're so embarrassed that you were at that situation, you were at that point that you can't talk to me anymore, then depending on how close we were, either one, I was the reason that you were planning on doing that. So that's gonna make me feel like shit. But if not, then that shows me that our friendship wasn't as deep as I thought it was. It wasn't as strong as I thought it was, right?
Correct.
Because simply you're going through something, and I took the necessary steps to try to help you, to do my
Yep.
best to help you, right? Now, if I understand, right? So let's say Chevalier calls me and we have that conversation, and I'm on the bus, or I'm at work, or I'm somewhere where I can't just up and dip. Because if he calls me and he's talking like that, he won't even know. I'll be in the car, we still be on the phone, right? But if I'm calling him, or if we have that conversation and he hangs up, somebody got to get there quicker than I can.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna reach out to somebody who's closer, right?
Yep.
Now, if after that you don't talk to me no more, then there's a deeper issue there. Like, what are you actually uh upset with me about? And I'm gonna bring this comment over because this is exactly where I was going. So, men on the go, he
That's
says it's
true.
probably who you told to save them than the fact itself. In some cases, the next person to assist, like family, was part of the depression.
That's
I
I agree with
100%
that.
agree with that.
Hmm.
I 100% agree with that. But if we're as close as we say we are, eventually that conversation has to be had.
Absolutely.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but that's given the fact that because you got to remember when the person was in that state, you got to assume that they're pretty irrational at that point, and
Yep.
so you really can't judge your friendship. Like if I was in that and I got mad at you, that means I gotta say I gotta become a rational person. Just because you stop them from doing something, that doesn't mean they're rational. Their thought process is still irrational because they have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I think you I think when you're in that situation, you just got to have a thick skin about it. You gotta
Yep.
be okay with them not
Being
being
okay
happy
with
with the
you.
decision you made, but you saved their life at the end of the day. You just got to be okay with that because you're not gonna get you're probably not gonna get a thank you. You're probably not gonna get well, when a person gets that low, man, I don't think they're capable
Well, I'm not
of
I'm
doing
not
that.
talking about right then. I'm
Hmm.
not talking about in a week. I'm not talking about in a year. Because they have to get to that point to understand things. But I feel like if there's never that reconnection, then like I said, either I was part of the problem or our friendship wasn't what we said
You
or
thought
I
it was.
thought it was.
Yeah.
I
Right.
disagree with that. I disagree
And I'm
with
gonna
that
say that,
because
and the reason why,
hmm
like I said, because yeah, you have to get back to a rational place. And if you get back to a rational place and you're doing that work and you're talking to somebody, you're talking to, going to therapy, getting the help that you need. And if you say that, okay, I'm better now, then at some point you got to think, I wouldn't even be here had he not called who he called.
Yeah.
in a perfect world, yeah. But I think Ray. I said I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but I think at the end of the day,
But I'm
we have
speaking
to
from a
take the
person who's been there and who
yeah.
actually attempted. You know, it
hmm
wasn't it wasn't. I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't reach out to nobody for help. I'm just saying. But
hmm
so I know the mindset when you're at that point. But
But if I was that person that you called, to be honest, it's like when you look at our friendship, which is probably one of the most in all my life, it's probably one of the most genuine friendships I've had. Not to minimize any other relationships that I have or have had, but um, because it was so unexpected, how we met each other and how we both have influenced each other's lives. So when I think about that, if I'd have been that person that ended up talking to you when you were in that situation, because of course I know about it, I think that I wouldn't have took that mindset ever. Like if we didn't speak anymore about it, I just would have took solace and been happy that you were still here. Even if we weren't talking, I wouldn't have had the expectation that at some point in time you would either thank me or we would be okay again. I would just be glad that you're here because I think when you do that, man, uh, you know, it's just what they say about expectations. You people never live up to your expectations. You just have to accept that shit
well,
and go on. You know.
yeah, I'm not saying I expect a thank you or I expect
Uh huh.
anything. What I'm saying, okay, so with the situation that you posed, if I had called you
Uh
and you
huh.
couldn't get to me and you called shit,
Eris.
you called Aries. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he said sister, anybody. You call
Yeah.
somebody else to come to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they were able to get to me and talk me off the ledge. Whoever it is you called, they were able to talk to me and get me off that ledge. And then I started to get the help and I started to get to a better place. In my mind, I know what happened
Mm-hmm.
because whoever you called wouldn't have any idea what was going on
Right.
because I didn't want them to know.
Right.
So it wouldn't be, it might be initial embarrassment, right? Like, um, and with the whole, no, I'm not finna do nothing. I'm not gonna do that. I was joking or whatever the case may be. If
Mm-hmm.
they don't take that, if they don't take that answer and they stick with me and they keep on pushing and get me to a better place, then I know, knowing me, you might not hear from me for a year. But
Right.
but getting back to getting into a better place, I know who is there for me and who will be there for me
If the
through
situation
anything.
arises. Right.
Exactly. So I'm
Right. Right. I get
definitely
it.
going to say, hey man, look, I know we haven't talked for a year. This is why. I was
I
going
get
through
that. I
I
do
was
get
I
that.
was and I'll tell you, man, I was pissed off that you sent my wife over here and I didn't want her to see this, or I'm pissed off that you sent my mom or my brother. But then knowing that you couldn't get to me in time,
Right.
knowing that you couldn't get to me in time, knowing that you love me enough to make a phone call and to push somebody else hard enough to get there immediately. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because
Yeah, I get
you could
that.
call somebody and they don't answer, or they do answer and they sit, well, what you talking about? All right, let me get some clothes on. But sometimes in that situation, you push them hard enough to get up and go. I
Right.
don't know how far of a drive it is from Seattle to Vancouver,
Three
but they
hours.
got
Three
they got
hours. Yeah.
they hit that road and they got there in
Yep.
time, right? So I know from being in that place
Mm-hmm.
that I would definitely, I mean, our friendship would be stronger after that situation,
I get it.
just because
I
I
do
know
understand.
that, and now that we've been through that, if I ever have those thoughts or start to feel like I'm drifting again, you're the first person I'm calling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're the first
Yep.
person
Yeah.
I'm gonna call, and
But
and that's why
what do
I
they
don't.
say about heroes though, Ray? What do they always characterize a hero as whenever you see
Well,
something about them? They're unsung,
you either
which means that
or you either
they
die
don't
a
get
hero or
yeah,
you live long enough
Yeah,
to become a villain.
right. You come to villain. You know what I'm saying? They don't hear about it.
yeah.
But
They're unsung, you know, they just
but it's not even
they're not acknowledged.
it's not even about acknowledging the hero,
Hmm.
acknowledging the fact that you did that. I might
Yeah.
I might never even say that, but I'm going to talk to you again
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
because
I think
I
I would
I
know
think
too.
that I
I
have to
think
have
I
you
think
in
the
my
dynamic
corner
that
because you're there.
the dynamic that you're talking about though, what I think you was trying to say is how you're describing it is I really don't want to say a rarity. You know what I'm saying?
It's an anomaly. It's an
But
anomaly. That's what I was
it,
gonna
it,
say.
it, it is an anomaly that most individuals that step into a scenario where they gotta drop something, go handle some business, and then come back or whatnot. Like everything is not the norm. And at the second part of that hand, it's also not the norm for them to get the recognition. You know what I'm saying? And not even to say that that they're looking for it, but they do go unspoken for.
That's
And
true.
as a friend, that's your job. As a
Right.
friend, Ray, to you, that's my job. My job is your friend, as your brother, because we don't call each other friends. We call each other brothers.
Right.
Had we known each other back then, and I was in that situation with you, for me there would be no expectation. The only thing that I would care about at that very point is that you still here to even fucking not talk to me.
But
Yep.
that's the thing,
It,
man.
you know,
But that's the thing. Like I know y'all saying this anomaly and but I mean, speaking from being in that, that's why I'm speaking from being in that
yeah,
position.
right,
I'm
Right.
not
right,
I'm not
You're
giving
not
hypotheticals.
looking at everything else.
I'm saying I don't see
How you could
how
not
I could not
at some point reach back out to him,
eventually
reach back
become
out.
even have an even stronger bond with you for the simple fact that I know that there is nothing that I can't talk to you about, and I know for a
Right.
fact that you're gonna do what it takes
Try to get me
to
right.
help. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what the situation is, you know. Um,
yeah.
and I know that some people that first of all, I don't understand why. I understand why you would be embarrassed for family to see you like that. But if you reached out to me, you reached out to me for one or two reasons.
You trust me?
No, you reached out to me to stop me, for me to stop you, or for you to get my permission.
But also, it's a
Because
matter of trust.
because if if you reach out to me and you start talking about that, and man, you ain't gonna do that shit, man. Don't even talk. And I just, wave my hand there
Blow it
like it
off.
ain't shit and
Right.
keep trying to talk to you about something else. That's me giving you my permission. If
Yeah.
me and if I go the other route and start trying to stop you, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Then that's the other reason, right? But so I know that you value me and you value every word that I'm gonna say while we're on this phone
Right.
or while
I
we're
get
face
that.
to face, whatever the case may be, you value it, right? So if
Hmm.
you call me and you know that I can't get to you, I'm gonna do everything in my power while we're on this phone. But I'm gonna do everything in my power to get to you. But I'm also gonna rally the troops and send somebody over there. So I get that you might be embarrassed for your family to see you in that light, to
Right.
hear that you've gone that far down when you've been portraying that everything is fine to them, and to see
Right.
you that way. I get that, but you shouldn't be embarrassed to talk to me again. You can be mad at me for sending your family over there because you didn't want them to see you like that. You can be mad at me,
Yep.
but eventually there has to come a point where you realize, nah, he really do love me. He really do care what happens to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you in a perfect world. And I believe that, one of the things that people say, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I've never been there and you have. But when people get to that space, they're in probably the most selfish point of their lives. They're
Yes.
at a point where they can only see the pain and the hurt that they're feeling. They can't even see or rationalize, like we talked about earlier in this conversation with the person I was talking to recently. They can't even see how it's going to affect the people like me or the people like their
Around them.
kids or their wives. Or they can't see that because they're in a very selfish state. For them, all they want to do is see the pain stop, and they
Yeah,
think this is the only way. A permanent. They want to make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. You know what I'm saying? So
it's true.
to be that, it's when I call them selfish, I don't mean it in a way that they're conceited. That's just all they're capable of seeing. That's the irrationality
Right.
of
Yep,
that situation. And
it's
Right.
so
true.
that
It's
that's why I
but it
say
is a
I don't
very
always
selfish
expect them to
mindset.
be, yeah. But I get what you're saying, coming from the standpoint that you're in, and you're definitely the person to say it because you're the person that's been in it. But that speaks to your character as a person, not if it's better or worse.
Right.
It just speaks to, okay, a lot of people don't have the wherewithal to do. You have in the 3 years that you and I have been friends, almost 4 years, I've watched you change as a man. I won't even say change. I'll say you've developed some
Growth.
things as it relates to
Growth.
vulnerability, and there's a level of growth that I've seen in you. Not that you were immature, but there are certain things that situations you would handle certain ways that you
You
would
want
call
that?
me about that you would never do that now. You wouldn't even consider it. I've watched you, it's almost been like a metamorphosis. I've been privy to that growth in you, and I love you for it. That's why I call you my brother. But even then, I think with that growth, everybody doesn't experience that level of growth that you experienced. And
Right.
and you went
No.
through a lot of situations that took you there. It wasn't by your doing. I've always said, and I'll relate it to me and you because this is the reason why we created this forum in the first place. One of the things I've always said about you, I said when I first met Ray, he is the youngest thinking motherfucker I know. And
Say
later
that.
on, a year or so later, I started seeing things in you and the way you handle situations, especially difficult situations, that fucking changed. And I would be like, boy, if Ray see this shit, he gon' and you would completely astound me that you didn't do it. I'd be like, he didn't do that. And I started, I would ask you questions sometimes, just not necessarily directly to see why, but I noticed that your thought process changed. You became a lot less forceful in your thought process. You started you started really breaking down certain nuances of such situations that you didn't do that at first.
Right.
And I think that came with a certain level of growth. I think some of it is because of the things that we do together. I thought that some of it was maybe because you knew some things about me and it made you think about, yourself, and you were never really been the kind of person that I've been. But I've noticed that you changed some things. And where I'm going with this is that, you know, you can't attribute growth to age. There's a certain wisdom in you at 39 years old that I've got some 57 and 65-year-old friends that don't have that level of wisdom. And so that's why I say I can see you seeing it that way. But man, just being a buck about this thing, there's not a lot of men that do that, that
No.
get in that situation. My buddy that I was talking to the other day, he ain't there. And he's way older than you. He ain't there at all, not at all. And it's I call it selfish, but not in a conceited sort of way. He's just so buried in the things that he's dealing with that he can't see anything else yet. He hasn't gotten to a point. And like Sarah said earlier about this situation, you can't put a time limit on grief.
Right. Right.
It's very, I know that what you say is true. I know that if it were me and you were in that situation, we might not talk for a few minutes. We might not talk for a while, but I know for a fact that we would eventually talk because I would probably call you and talk shit to you every now and then until you did talk. Hey, shut up. Excuse me. And hey, go sit down somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. But I'm on the live, dude.
Midstream.
But hey, man, hey, you don't hear no more barking, do you?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that haven't reached that. More people than you realize that haven't reached that. That's my point. So
Right.
that's why I feel heroes go unsung in a sense. You can't be
You
worried about that.
know,
It is sad, Mike Keisha. Mike Keisha Watson
you
said it perfect. It's sad.
Yeah.
you're right. It is sad. You know what? I remember a scenario some years ago with my brother, you know what I'm saying? Rest in
Mm,
peace. But he got married to his first wife, and they got married. I was there at the wedding. They went on a nice, honeymoon and everything, and then they came back, and then all of a sudden she went into a coma.
wow.
Mm.
Um, I was probably, not far. He was in South Carolina. I was up in Connecticut, and he was like, "Yo, bro, the thoughts, uh, over becoming." I said, "Bro, I'm on my way." I said, "Do not do nothing irrational." I I talked at the time. I talked to my command. Dropped 2 weeks of leave. I was out. Like, and this is the same city where my mom, most of my maternal, instincts are there.
Kinfolk.
Grandmother, everything. So I spent 2 weeks, that whole 2 weeks in the hospital with him, making sure that, hey, bro, everything's good. Like, she'll get through it. She'll come out, everything. But it was just that initial thought that he was like, yo, I can't take this, you know. And he's already gone through so many things in life with him being diagnosed with sickle cell. So him living, to almost the age of 50 was damn near a godsend in most people's eyes, because I mean he was diagnosed this young in age before we even got into high school.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was just crazy. And so when I talked to some other people, they were like, yo, I don't know what you said, what you did, or whatnot to get him off a ledge that he was not going to budge from. And when I talked to some other family members, they're like, look, you're probably the only one
That could have done it.
could reach him in that level, because y'all have experienced a lot of
You had that
life
kind of connection with him.
together. Yes. So, not even, his biological brother could even reach that connect. And so, like I said, sometimes, yeah, blood is blood, but sometimes the connection runs way deeper than that. And when two people experience some shits and they're going through life together, especially like me and him, when we met, shit, we were fucking like 14, and we went through a whole hell of a lot of shit together. I mean, from school, high school, like first jobs, his first and second marriage, his kids. It was just everything. But I made sure that I remained a presence, even now to this day when he's gone and he doesn't get to, see or understand the fruits of his labor with the, about the grandkids he's inherited right now. I try to be there to pick up the pieces, when his, ex, widow can't, so I make the trips to South Carolina. I make the trips to be like, oh, who needs Pampers? Who needs this? Who needs that?
That's a friend. That's a brother for you. That's a real brother.
So those are the kind of things that I think sometimes we forget about.
Yeah.
Because we see that individual, that particular individual is gone. You know what I'm saying? And we lose the connection that's
To the rest.
that's still tethered
live. Right.
to that's a living representation. So, it's like a lot of times I even kick myself sometimes, but like, yo, hey, you gotta do better. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, continue to reach out. You know what? You got a 9 to 5, you got X, Y, and Z going on, but you know what? You gotta make that drive to the crib. Hey, stop by the house. Hey, how y'all doing? You need anything? You straight, Bill straight, the kids straight, whatever the cost is. And that's just what it is. If you value an individual and you think their self-worth was just as much as your self-worth or better, then that's what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
Here. That's true.
Yeah.
That's real talk, man.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At ChevalierLife.com, our personalized humidors, cigar accessories, and apparel are unique and the perfect gift for yourself or your favorite cigar enthusiast. Send us any high-resolution image or logo, and we'll design your personalized humidor. Visit ChevalierLife.com for details, or go to my Instagram at ChevalierLife and simply click the link in the bio.
So I wanna talk about this comment that Cell B made earlier. Men friendships aren't based on vulnerability. We get together to drink or smoke or watch the game, etc. Being weak to another man was never acceptable behavior. The comment was made a little while ago, but
Right.
um,
Right.
it falls right in line with what we're saying now. You know, if your friends can't handle you being vulnerable to them, and they're not your friends.
They're not
No.
truly friends. No,
They
That's
they
not at
that.
just
all.
Yeah.
motherfuckers that you drink,
That
smoke,
That
you
you
know.
watch the game with.
they're associates to you.
Yeah, the
Right.
And
motherfuckers you know. That's it.
you know, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's not funny, but you bring this comment up at I say integral part that I'm going through now with some friends that lost a really good friend, and they had been having a really hard time, and you can see it.
Yeah.
And we get together, no different than what he was saying. Now we get together for the UFC, the boxing fights. We got the smoker up, we got the grills up, we got the fryers going, the drinks are pouring. But even in the midst of all of that, the dude's having a breakdown. So if you know, as the comment lies, as so-called friendship, how do you handle that? How are you going to combat that? Are you going to look at that individual and say he's weak? You know what I'm saying? Because he lost someone that, you know what, was probably a great mentor in his life and got him through some life changes. No, that's some fucked up mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
I
that's
agree.
where it becomes the selfishness. I'm really more of an associate. I don't give a fuck
They're a
about.
friend.
I'm not giving a fuck about other people. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out here trying to drink and have a good time, nah. Like I don't really associate with people that I don't fuck with on that kind of level.
That's why you got to build that circle. You have to build your circle. If
Right.
you are
Find your
going through
tribe.
something and your friends don't see it, don't say anything about it, don't try to, if they don't see it, first of all, that's a problem. Or you're
Yeah,
a good ass actor. Secondly, if they see it and don't say anything, they're not your damn friend.
Right.
no,
No, not at all.
They just some motherfuckers you know. If they only come around when the drinks is flowing and the cigars is lit and the game is or the fight or whatever is going on when it's a gathering, them motherfuckers ain't your friend.
right.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Both three said it best. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner.
you
That's
right
Nope.
that's
about
real talk.
well,
Yeah.
come on, Mark. You've been kind of quiet. What you got?
You thinking about EPAD, business over personal? Yeah. Hold up. Pow, pow. Yep. I came out with guns blazing.
uh, um, like a lot of things y'all touched on it. Y'all covered up damn near every aspect of it, and I have to agree. Like if
Can I
based on what you said
interrupt you here
earlier,
for a second, Mark?
Mark,
huh?
you ain't gonna say it comes from within.
No, I just wanted to jump in here for a second.
Go ahead, man.
Mama's calling. It's dinner time here on
Dinner
the West
time.
Coast. So
Well, we
before,
gotta get the
I,
toast. Come on, we
yeah,
gotta get
before they
Well,
go,
let's get the
I got a
toast.
toast. So
Go ahead, man.
in the spirit of the conversation we've been having about support and brotherhood and friendship, um, I have to propose a toast to Pete, the serial flasher. He was supposed to he was supposed to retire today, but he's decided to stick it out for another year.
this.
Only Matt. Only Matt.
We appreciate you, man.
Have a good night,
Thank you
guys.
as always,
I,
man.
I,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Enjoy
brother.
your meal, brother.
yeah, for sure. Talk to you guys
All
next
right,
week.
man.
See you
yes,
later.
All right,
sir.
Yeah,
bro. Next week.
bye.
Bye.
Like
Not letting me leave.
based on
You might not be eating.
Yeah.
You might not be eating.
There we
What
go.
y'all eating for dinner, man? Just take the camera to the table. Shit.
He said, nope. He said, look, he's like, look, I'm gonna figure this out because I want my plate.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
hey, when y'all ever know when mama calls, hey, he be like, hey, gotta go. Time to eat. Gotta go.
Hey,
That mean whatever's in them pots, got to be good. Come on, Mark, what you got?
but like you said, Ray, if you have what you went through, if you go into the and you call a friend and they do whatever they can, whether they can be there themselves or they send somebody else as a representative to help take you off that edge and you recover from it. It's just like you said, it may be a period of time where you don't speak, but if you're a real person and a real man, at some point you got to acknowledge how important that person was and how important you are to that person, that they took the time and effort to make sure you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Even if they
Regardless
couldn't.
of what it's going to take out of them, they made sure you're going to be okay. It don't matter whether you were embarrassed if they told somebody else, they cared enough to put forth that effort and makes this. They could be themselves, but they're going to send somebody else. Yo, you got to get there and make sure they all right.
So, Mark, there's another part to this. That's why I don't use that word friend very lightly. Right?
Nah,
If you're my friend, then I use that. That holds a lot of weight. So anybody that I would have called in that situation, I know that one, they was gonna be in whatever mode of transportation they could, as well as calling somebody that's close. You know what I'm saying? And that's
right,
the thing that we have to understand when we're talking about friends, when we're talking about this. You know, if if I'm your friend and you call me, and if it's a 24-hour drive, but you call me, if I have somebody's number that's closer, I'm in the car, I'm on the
And
road.
I'm calling them. Yep.
I'm going to call that person
I'm
and I'm going to keep going
I'm
because
gonna
I'm going to pull up eventually,
I'm gonna
one
argue
way or the other.
I'm gonna argue that debate and and
Lost you,
and,
Ray.
and I'm gonna just say it because you probably understands it most of all above everybody else. I've been in that scenario and I've been 4,000 fucking miles away from the crib. I
Ah,
can't
yeah.
I can't just get home.
Oh, I know,
You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying?
So you
I
have to
got
get
to.
somebody close.
I got to make multiple phone calls. You know what I'm saying? To make sure people are aware of whatnot. Hell, I
But you
was in
do
the
it.
point where they damn near wanted to put me on a lockdown because I found out, and there was a back channel that, I was 4,500 miles away from the crib, and my mother had a stroke, but nobody wanted to tell me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because of what we were doing and where we were
Right.
at.
Those operational commitments. That's the two words that they use.
Because they
Yeah.
did not want, you know what I'm saying, my mind to
that could be a distraction.
me to be pondering about X, Y, and Z in the middle of submarine warfare.
So let me
You-
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Had they told you, what would you have done?
What would I have done?
Yeah,
Oh, I would have found the first plane I could take and get the fuck
that's
up
what
out
I'm
of there.
saying. That's what
But
I'm saying.
but but
Whether
but
I'm not. I mean, that's
the
different.
the
Where
but
you
the
you
right
are you underwater.
the ramifications of my actions would have been costly. You know what I'm
True,
saying?
Yeah.
true.
It wouldn't have done the scenario
Any
any
good.
good, knowing that, at the time, that she was with her sisters.
Hmm.
Everybody possible was there.
Right.
But like I tell people with she and I'm her only child. So yeah,
Well, let's
I'm her,
let's
I'm
say
I'm,
this.
go- I'm going to react in a very much different manner than the norm.
Anybody else?
Let
Right.
me let me let me
Absolutely.
give you this scenario then. Right now, if I were to call you right now and tell you I'm thinking about ending it all,
Hmm.
what's your first move?
What's my first move? It's actually two. Book a flight. Call my boss. Hey, I can't make it to work the rest of the week.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That right there. I mean, you being out on the submarine down in the water, I mean, it's hard for you to get anywhere.
Right?
But you would have made phone calls or whatever. If you can call from underwater. I don't know if you can
No,
call
no,
from
you can't.
No, you can't call.
so I wouldn't have been
No.
able to reach you anyway. But that's what
No.
I'm saying. You surround your people whose first thought is, I have to make sure he's good,
Yeah.
right? Whatever that looks like, I gotta make sure he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, like, and and again, as I said, if I know somebody that's closer, I'm going to call them too.
Right.
I'm not gonna stop driving or flying or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna get somebody there now because we don't have time to wait hours for me to. If Chevalier would have called me, I'm going to be in the car on the phone with him, and then I'm going to be on three-way. I'm gonna call somebody else, and I'm not gonna be on three-way, but I'm gonna call somebody else and switch back over. I'm gonna be switching back and forth the whole time.
Right.
You got to get there. Are you there yet? All right, I'm on my way. I'm back over here. Right? You there yet? No, I'm on my way. I'm back over here because I don't have 4 hours to waste at that point.
No. Time. Time.
You know,
Time is a
Time's
time is
of
but
time's of
very
also
essence.
Time is of the essence.
right, but
is a
also
very big factor in a lot of things. And like I think about my brother's situation or whatnot. I was 15. Actually, I was 16 hours away. You know, so the quickest avenue for me was to hop on a plane and shoot out. You know, but at the same time, it was like, hey, I still got obligations that I'm like, look, I got to route paperwork, I got to do X, Y, and Z, and that was a phone call. Like the minute I sent some and he kind of confirmed it, it was a done deal. It was like, yo, hey, I got to go. I don't know what the fuck we got going on, but y'all gonna have to figure it out. I gotta go to the crib.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
because
this,
but
this,
also
this is a
I'm
life or death
going to
scenario.
I'm also if Chevalier would have called me and say that and everything works out that night, he gonna have to he probably gonna wind up blocking me because I'm gonna continue to call.
That's true. 'Cause
You know
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
one time I had a situation. Your ass called me all damn day.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I'm
That
I'm
It wasn't
that
But
even
going
that
that
detrimental.
I'm going to
that's what a
continue to
brother
call
does.
but
Yeah,
see,
because
he
but
called
see,
me
I
all day,
need to
dude.
know that
it,
you're still
it
okay.
look,
But
it's
also
it,
because, like we said earlier, there's no time limit on grief. So you
Right.
can
no
easily slide back into that. So I want to continue to make sure that you're okay. Now,
right,
you block me, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to call
Pop
somebody
up.
else.
And you gonna pop up at the door.
yeah,
Definitely. I'm going to call
Yeah.
somebody else and I'm going to see but I'm definitely going to pop up. And if you don't open the door, okay, I know where you work at.
right,
But
right,
I'm definitely going to keep track, right? Because I want to know that you're still okay. Not that you made it through that instance, but
right,
that you're still okay. So, and I want you to understand that I'm more than an acquaintance. I am your friend. I'm your brother.
Right.
and I care about you, and I want to make sure that you're all right. So, and I need you to know that at least one person cares about you. So I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to do it. So when that, so when I hear people saying they don't talk to me no more, I start to try to figure out, well, what's going on? Why have you not talked? Why haven't you heard from them? Why haven't you talked to them? Like, do you reach out to them? And they might never answer. But I need to know you all right if I care about you that much. And I would hope that you're doing the same thing for me. Even if I don't want to talk to you right now and I block you, I hope that one day I walk outside and your truck sitting out there like, okay, I don't want to see this motherfucker and go back inside or whatever the case may be. But there will come a point where this motherfucker actually cares. And I get to a point
Right.
where, okay, I have people that care about me. I do have people that care about me,
Right.
But it's an ongoing thing because dealing with grief is never over.
It's never easy.
Nah, not at all.
Right.
Not at all. Grieving is, man, it's something that you don't expect, and it's really hard to handle. It's just something you just have to deal with it and understand that in some aspect it's just a moment in time, and you have to be able to, how would I say this, compartmentalize it.
Yeah, but you know what, Mark? The problem
that doesn't happen. You don't compartmentalize
no,
bury it. And then once you bury it for so long, eventually it comes back
sometimes
on.
it does. Some like he's saying, I think, what is going to be legitimate at that time. Like
Right.
you may have to try to immediately compartmentalize it to a degree till you can get to a space,
that space where
you can actually grieve. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I've been in scenarios where
I've been there. Like
sailors.
I'll tell you, when my mother,
yeah, go ahead.
When my mother passed, I was on like you said, I was her only child, and when she passed, everybody thought, because me and my mom was like peanut butter and jelly, and it was like, yo, Mark, you gonna be okay? And I'm like, yeah, I have to be. Why? I said, because the last thing she told me was, don't shed no tear. I led a good life. It's your time now. Live your life. And I said, she wouldn't want me to be overly, because I have shit I have to handle. So being overly emotional, and I can't do that right now. And I can say, honestly, I didn't cry for about a good month or two. And then one day I've been sitting in my house by myself, and a song came on that reminded me of her, and tears flowed. And after those tears flowed, everybody was like, Mark, I'm like, yo, I'm good. I needed that. At the moment, I needed that
release.
That release. I'm good. And there's moments now. She's been gone over 20 years. And there's moments now where I'll sit down and I just remember, I'll say something, and I'm like, yo, Mom used to say that to me all the time. And that moment will hit you. And it's just a part of life.
Like certain circumstances are gonna leave. Like you're gonna grieve, you're gonna think about it, you're gonna grieve some more, you're gonna think about it, and not that it gets easier, but you just understand the process.
Right.
Yeah, it's acceptance. You accept. There's acceptance there.
Right.
Yeah.
it's that point that you get to the acceptance. Like, but that doesn't that for people to understand the acceptance is not the simple fact that it goes away.
Nah.
We just accepted that fact. It's still gonna hurt when
Right.
certain dates come up, certain events come up, and everybody's usually looking like, yo, your mom always made the collard greens and the mac and cheese.
Right.
Or
Right.
Z, who's doing it? Or hey, your mom always made sure, or not even just your mom, but such and such made sure all of these things were laid out
We're
and
done. Right.
right.
Who's doing it now?
Who's going to come
Step
up
up.
in that role? And usually, it's another sibling or a aunt or
Right.
somebody that's within that realm that can understand, like, oh, you know what, I
The
got
importance of it.
to, because how the hell is he or she gonna combat this? Because it is, for lack of a better term, for most people that don't understand, it is a battle. It is a battle of
Yes.
mindset. It is a battle of your fucking mental, your emotions, and everything else that you're going to have to fight through. And I don't even know why. I didn't even know the topic for this lounge. And
You actually hit it pretty good. We're talking
I,
about dealing with grief.
and that's the funny thing. I talked about this when I was on the podcast with Pussip and Chat about my shirt, and I'm actually wearing that shirt tonight, which is "Darkness is a hell of a coach."
Yeah.
And like, a lot of people sometimes don't want to sit there and mellow in it, and I think a lot of times you gotta fight. You gotta fight those battles. You gotta dwell within the trenches of it and understand. And this is what I always tell people: understand. You do not have to go through that alone. Like, there are
Yeah.
people that will, help you combat through these issues. But I think where a lot of people fail is they do not want to share the pain.
And,
I
and
agree.
I
Of
think we don't
I
want to
agree.
show our pain because
going
we
through
view it
this
as a sign of weakness. But we have to understand that
thing. No, I mean,
out of that pain
we
comes strength.
we get it. Like, what I'm saying, it is a very hard thing to deal with grief. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about on both men and women aspects of it. You know what I'm saying? But I think for how we talk, there's more men suicides than there's women. You know.
Y'all remember when we did the show when the guy from Ellen uh killed himself from the Ellen
Yeah,
DeGeneres show?
yeah,
And I remember, knowing about this guy, kind of watching his journey, and it seemed that he had Twitch. Was his Twitch,
yeah.
right?
That was his
Yeah,
name.
he
Yeah.
had,
That was
yeah,
that push.
yeah, he had everything together, man. Well, at least the world thought he had everything together,
Right,
but this dude was in a lot of pain. But the pain behind the smile, the pain behind the eyes. I
right.
think when you think about it, like what Ray was saying about finding your tribe, one thing I can say about Raymond Watson, I can say he could tell me
Raymond.
that the Raymond, he can tell me that the sun is fucking shining, but there's a certain kind of way I ain't got to see his face. If I'm talking to him and he talking to me a certain kind of way and he's engaging, but he has a tone that I know that's not right. Now it may not be anything major, but it within the first 5 minutes of that conversation, I'm like, say, man, what the fuck's up with you? You know, it's and that, he does the same thing to me. It's funny,
You're
he'll
right.
call me out the blue and I'll have some shit going on and ain't saying shit to him, and he'll call me out the blue and be like, "Say, man, what?" I'll usually get a text that says, "What the fuck you up to?"
And And look,
And
and I
it's when you have your tribe like that, bro. When
right
you have your tribe, man, there's a connection,
that
and I
there's
think
always gonna be
we have
that.
to. It's always a connection, even when we are on here on the lounge, man. And DJ, we all of us have talked. Mark, there's a certain connection that I know with you guys when we're having these conversations, whatever we're talking about.
Right.
I can tell when something's right and when something ain't right. I can
You're
tell,
right. You're right.
the body language and stuff. And I think one of the things, as we wrap the topic, that one way for me, what I took from this conversation tonight, one way to deal with grief, well, it's two ways to realize that you can't do it alone. You don't have to,
Nope.
and to also realize that, man, it's important to find your tribe, man.
Man,
It's it's
Absolutely.
it's
you know
it's
what?
it's cool to have people that you can lean on, man, when you don't feel your best, man. And I'm blessed to have that in y'all.
Right.
I have friends like Kia and other people that I can talk to, but I have my tribe. You know what I'm saying? And I think for a lot of people, they thought they had their tribe, and where the real disappointment and the lost feelings come in, they don't find out they don't really have a tribe until they need them.
Right.
Well,
Well,
boom, you hit it on the head, Chevalier. You
Yeah,
hit it
uh,
on the head, brother.
I'm gonna bring two different aspects to that. One, I'm gonna bring a comical aspect to it because when it comes to Ray, I'm gonna have to treat Ray like
I
a
already know what he
unsub
gonna say.
in Criminal Minds because Ray be all over the
That's so
place.
true.
Ray got so much shit that he'd be like bat 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 bat. All right, I gotta look. I gotta make a profile for this person, this thing, this thing, this thing, and then I gotta
That's
look at
true.
him like, all right,
That's
bam.
true.
This is where the issue lies right here. Fuck everything else. This is where it lies. That's my unsub. So that's my joking part for this to bring some liveliness. But then Chevalier brought up a good point. Most people don't find out that they necessarily don't have a tribe. And so here's where I ask, I'm gonna have to ask. This is where I ask people that they honestly need to do the work to heal themselves in certain aspects because you can't go through trauma and expect to have a tribe when you lie to them.
That
You
part.
Okay.
can't expect to have a tribe when you don't. I mean, it's a bit the same thing. You falsify the information. You leaving out parts, and at the same time, you don't accept. And I think this is the big concept that I think a lot of people don't like to do. They do not like to accept accountability and responsibility for some of the decision makings that lead them into
Down these
that path
paths.
of
Yeah.
trauma. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I
Absolutely.
agree.
I agree.
That's real talk, especially
It's
men.
almost like a self-destruct button. And the only way that those individuals can get out of that is to cut people off, cut ties, so to speak, go, in a mold, and start kind of almost start life anew, but you're not starting it anew. You're just starting a different chapter, but the pages are bleeding the same fucking ink. You know what I'm saying? That you started or finished on that last chapter. You're still going through pain, you're still going through heartache, you're still going through grief. And a lot of times people just don't want to accept the role that they played in
And the situation.
on self-destruction in certain
Right.
aspects. And
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
Right.
you
That's
That's very
true.
true.
Your
can't
tribe has to be able to point that out. That's one. So
you
while you
but
said
that's
that
the point.
that
But that's the point. A tribe can you can have people that are probably genuine and true to you that understand. Like, look, they can see through all of the red line, the fucking tape. You know what I'm saying, and see where you're hurting, and you, but they also see where you're fucking up at, and they see where that's contributing to a lot of things, and they can call you out on it.
Yeah.
But again, it's that individual. Like they can go into that recluse mode. Oh, you ganging up on me. You know what I'm saying? You know, you talking down, you talking bad towards me. I got to remove myself from the situation. You're toxic. You're a narcissist. That's the behavior that they're gonna kind of promote to you because
The lack of taking accountability.
right,
Yeah.
they don't want to take the accountability and responsibility for the actions that they've had and have driven them into that role. Like, and I don't necessarily want to openly pop this topic out, but I think in some cases when we're talking about um sexual assault, domestic violence, like some of those instances actually occur where the person has done something to aggravate the situation that much more. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say, hey, that's a valid reason that for the other person to do what they did, but it promoted it that much more. You know what I'm
And
saying?
through and added
Whether,
fuel to the fire.
So that
yes,
that's the one that,
whether
like you said
that's
earlier.
a woman, you know, finding out her husband's cheating, and all of a sudden she has a blackout moment, and she lashes out at him, and then he puts his hands on her. You know what I'm saying? Knowing he could easily walk away. You know, he's not if he's not being threatened with a weapon, he can easily walk away. And vice versa. So there's a whole lot of, you know, dynamics. I've seen folks within my military career, uh, and it's sad, they go to funerals because of domestic violence. When a lot of things really truly can have been avoided. Like there's no reason. You know what I'm saying? If you if there's no physical harm, you know, really coming to you at a moment like, and I look at that cheating, whatever the case may be. If no one's setting physical harm to you, there's no reason for you to jump to an aggravated solution to the problem. You
So,
know,
but
you can walk
one
away.
of one of the things you said earlier, you said I got these maps where I look at people.
Right.
So
I
it's
do it all
it's
the time.
it's
It's
basically true.
it's retarded for me.
But but I'm gonna tell you why it's a great thing to do for the people around you. Because you look at people and you start to understand those people. You start to actually know those people.
Yeah.
And you can know and you start to see, okay, something's not right here. That's out of his character. So, you know, something's not right. Or this is his character.
But
I need to check this.
but
You know, or you know,
it's how
so
it's how fast certain things are moving.
yeah, but when you know the people that are around you at that level, you can move in a certain way. You know, you can, like Chevalier said it earlier,
Yeah.
if I hear a certain tone or if he does something a certain way, I'm gonna ask him, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, I don't ask everybody what the fuck is wrong with you, but that's how I know I can talk to them. So
Right.
when you know these people And like you said, some people like, oh, you ganging up on me, you doing this. That's when you have to know those people. So I know that I can't go to everybody and say, hey man, what the fuck is wrong with you? I gotta have another way in to
You
talk to
you gotta have another
you, you know.
input.
So as I do that, as I do that, you know, I get to know people in a way that maybe they might not want to be known that way, but
Right.
it doesn't matter
I can't come at
because
them
I
like
need
this.
to know you that way because I need to know that you're all right. If you're
Right.
my friend, if you're my friend, like I say, I put so much weight on that word friend. If you are my friend, I know you're going through something. I am going to be there to figure out, to help you figure out how to navigate this situation in the way that is best for you to the best of my ability. Now, I'm not going to take the way that I deal with Chevalier and talk to DJ or Mark that same way. You know what I'm saying? There are different ways that you deal
Right.
with people.
'Cause we
And
might be
Mark,
like, well, what the fuck you mean? What the fuck wrong with
right,
you?
Exactly.
right. If I
We
call,
might slap shit out you, Ray.
if I see something, you know, like when DJ took his hiatus from Instagram and ain't tell us
Oh
shit,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
call him and say, "Hey, where the fuck you been?" I just, you know, you good? Everything all right? You been gone for a minute?
Mhm.
What's up?
But if you remember that we because we all are like a tribe. I remember DJ's reaction. And I don't know if you remember our phone call, DJ. I called you and I was like, say man, where you at?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I mean,
that
you did. You was like,
I was like, say man, where
you,
you at? Like
you was
what's
like, look,
going on?
I tried to tag you. I tried to look you up. I couldn't find you. Like, what the fuck you do? You delete your Instagram? And I told him straight up. I said, man, I needed to unplug from the matrix. Um,
Sometimes we got to do that.
and
Yeah,
so
But
I mean, sometimes a lot of people don't even understand that
mhm.
concept. And
But you oh go
you
ahead, I'm
know,
sorry.
but the problem is like look at this age bracket that we're discussing this phenomenon in. All right, so at point, you know, we all, you know, a few of us have kids, so we're older talking about unplugging and doing a reset, hard reset to be like, yo, like a lot of this shit out here is fucking flabbergasted. It's just
That's goofy.
it's no, it's toxic. It's toxic gas.
Right.
And you gotta unplug from that because you're breathing that shit in. So imagine parents having to deal with their kids with the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, you know, all of the different platforms that they have with social media that, you know, when we grew up, we didn't have that. And
that's why you build those
and,
maps of
and,
people.
and trying to be like, bitch, I gotta make sure you do a hard reset and pull a plug, but you know what I'm saying, you don't want to necessarily put a plug on your kids. Like, you know, they freak out of fucking control, but you got to be able to have that kind of discipline. And I think it kind of leads back to that one live that, you know, Maduro Melly was on, and we were talking about
Oh
kids
yeah.
and
Last
everything
week.
else. Being able to be that parent to be like, bro, no, shut this shit the fuck off. Wow, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes you know what they need it. You know what I'm saying, and the crazy part is, I'm noticing adults, you
Who need
know,
it?
that need it, and
Yes, badly.
they don't know how to pull the plug.
Unplug.
You know what I'm saying? Because like it, you know, whether it keeps look, I'm naturally a night owl. I'm not a morning person. So for some people to be like, bro, it's 2:30. I'm like, okay,
I
whatever.
mean, first of all, you don't have to say. That's one thing. The term night owl, owls only come out at night. They nocturnal anyway.
Right.
He
So you
said what
just
he
say
said to
owl.
you, DJ. You don't
I,
have to say that because there are no day owls out there. You can
I,
just call yourself
He
an
try,
owl.
actually,
he
look,
trying to be funny with his
He trying to be
sarcastic
funny,
ass.
Look, actually, they are. You know what I'm saying? Look, I got a few out in this motherfucker right now. And I'm like,
Well, them
what
them
y'all
fuckers probably
doing?
got them fuckers might got rabies or something. You
You
might
know what I'm
want to stay away.
saying? Look,
Uh,
them motherfuckers are hunting fucking other predators and shit. I'm
yeah,
like, I'm looking
come
around
on.
like, oh shit, look, I'm about to go back in the house.
You
Because
need to. They gonna swipe down and try
I'm
to snatch you
not
up.
about to witness because look, I got hawks, owls, and eagles all around here.
Same
Crazy
here.
as hell.
Fuck all that.
That's
You know,
crazy.
the funny thing that I get from all of this, and I always try to summarize shit, but the one thing I got based on what you saying, DJ, what you saying, Mark and Ray, is that you have to meet people where they are. Like,
Yeah,
that's why I hear you saying, Ray, when you talk about and you be talking about the maps and stuff. What I always see you do, and I see you do it a lot. You have a unique ability to meet people where they are, and I think to really be a part of a tribe, because when you have a tribe, it's not all about taking. It's just as important to give 100% to get 100. Now, there's the ebbs and flows in the middle of that, right? We all know that. But at the point you give what's 100 for you, it may only be 50 for the other person that's getting it, but you meet everybody where they are, and when you have a good understanding of that, you know how to talk, you know how to communicate with one to get the same outcome that you may communicate another total different way with the other, because you're meeting them where they are in their journey. And I think that's the thing is, men, when we talk about the topic and trying to figure out how we deal with grief. When we're supporting our friends, first of all, they're really our friends, not our associates. They're our tribe. We already know that we got to meet them where they are. We already understand, like Ray used the example. If I call Yule and I say, "Hey man, what the fuck is up with you?" Because I know where he is. I know, he knows, he knows that I have a certain tone. He knows that, I have shit going on, because we don't just talk on the lounge. We talk more, than most people would even think that we do. And then there are times when I might go a week and not talk about Ray, and we can pick up some shit. And he said, "Well, how's this situation going on?" I ain't had to tell him. He's gonna hit me and be like, "How's it?" Or I may call him and say, "Hey man, what's up with this?" Because something in this connection has got me saying, I gotta check on my brother.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that, so I have these connections with you guys, and I don't necessarily have the same connection with my brothers. You know, just because a person's in your tribe, that don't mean they your family. I got
No.
family that I got a brother that I only see about every 3, 4 years. You
And
know,
hmm
but that's
you know.
the I'm not gonna say that's the beautiful intricacy of things, but like most people say, um, I I could choose who rides beside me. I can't choose my family.
right.
Right. All
You know
day.
what I'm saying?
And
So, I think a lot of times too many people take heed in the blood relations and
And it
things
don't
like
necessarily mean shit.
a
Don't
lot
mean
of
a goddamn thing.
times we can't meet people at their juncture in life. Sometimes we just can't because we're on two totally different dynamics.
And
Right.
Um,
sometimes they don't want to be met.
where they potentially think they need us to show up at, like we may be surpassed that to
But
a point.
that's my point though, DJ, to what you're saying about what may look like 100%. You feel you giving 100, but when they see it, they only seeing 75 or 50 or 25
Right.
because of their perception.
And,
But
and, and
though
in a
when
lot
you
of
have your
cases,
true tribe, y'all understand that.
and
You
then
understand that he's doing
right,
what he can do or she's doing what she can
What
do,
she can do,
at
right.
this moment.
right.
Yeah,
which
you
is
you you
exactly
tend
why
to understand everybody's you
right.
understand the
And
talents.
so, and
yeah, which is
I
exactly
think,
why you have to know the people that are
I,
in your tribe. You have to
but
know
that's
them in a way where you can get to a point where when they're going through something, you have to understand how you can help them,
right.
how you can
And
support
so
them.
here,
So if you don't know how you can support them, you
nope.
know,
Here's my point to what I was saying.
Hmm.
You, yeah, all of us know. Hey, we locked in. I can. Hey, Ray, I seen that. I seen this fucked up post you did. Like, nigga, that was sideways. You ain't post some shit like that at all. Like, what the fuck? Now, that's us. You may have somebody that thinks you are a part of their tribe when you don't know.
True.
True.
You know what I'm
but
saying?
if somebody thinks that I'm
But
a part of their tribe and I don't know it,
but
if I
that,
know them,
but
if I
that's,
know them at all,
but this
I'm
is my
gonna
point.
I gotta know something. I gotta know them. I gotta know.
You, you,
I
you,
build it
you,
in my mind who they are.
you might know something, but as you was pointing out, they think, hey, this is my man 50 grand, he's gonna look out for me. They're expecting the 85, 90%. But as you were saying, hey, I gotta meet you where I kind of see you at. So yeah, bro, you only getting 25. But they look at that as a discouragement because this they lack the communication piece. They lack that piece of, hey, let me bring who I consider my network. Because let me put it to you like this, and Ray, you should be able to understand that. If my network isn't operating well on my computer, some shit is going to malfunction.
Right.
So I got to make sure my operating network is at its prime best. And I I wanted to make sure that my fucking software is upgraded. I got the right RAM and my CPU is running 100%. If I know that I have a foreseeable future where I'm about to get knocked and I'm about to lose, you know what I'm saying, 3 to 4 gigs of RAM, like I need to make sure that these people got the mental capacity to help me run my system if I'm failing,
Yeah.
or if I see an inevitable system crash. Some people can't do that.
You're right about that. Some people definitely can't do that. Um,
That's why expectations are dangerous.
Right.
Expectations are
Expectations
definitely
are unrealistic and dangerous in a lot of situations. And that's why I always refer back to, it's a matter of perspective,
Right.
and people, when you feel you giving 100%, then you got to be okay with that, and if people really communicate in the right way, at some point there's going to be
They'll understand
some
it.
type of conversation where that's acknowledged. Well, I just went through this today with somebody today, and they told me, um, she told me that she didn't feel that I was being the friend to her that she was being to me, right? And
Agree.
and when I thought about it, I listened and I said, you know what? I didn't realize that's because I am your friend. I didn't realize that. So what I hear you saying is that you need a little bit more from me. And it was a serious conversation, and she's a friend, and she said, I need a little bit more from you, man. Like the whole time you was in the hospital, I called you every day, which is true. But then I'm going through something, and I haven't heard from you in a while. Now I know you're going through things. You got a lot going on, kids going off to college, you're
Right.
getting over this broken leg, you got a lot going on. But I had a lot going on too, and so her perception was is that I didn't care as much. What the level of care that I have for her has never diminished, It's just that I got so caught, and I explained it to her. I got so caught up in what I was doing, I lost sight of,
Everything else. All
that.
right.
I didn't think about it,
And we can do
and
that.
I assured her that going forward, I will put a better effort. But I'm glad that you told me, and I think when we have these situations, because that's what I meant about that.
And that's the
You'll
conversation.
think you're giving 100, and you only giving 25, and you don't even realize it. Another part of that is being accountable and saying, "Hey, I hear you. I didn't. There was nothing in me that felt like I needed to debate what she was saying. It was more important to
Just
acknowledge it so she would be okay. And then for me as a friend to say, "Hey, man, I need to step it up a little bit. I need to, check on her.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying about that. And all of that goes back into our topic of dealing with grief and all of that. The like you said earlier, DJ, and I heard Mark, you said it. We've all said it different points in this conversation tonight. Sarah really took it home that we have to try to be cognizant, but more so we have to be more accountable. And we have to be willing to accept that constructive criticism that comes with that from the people that we call our tribe. Everything ain't always gonna be like we get along and things
no,
like that. It's not about getting along, it's about being able to hear each other and acknowledge each other for where they are in their journey. You know
truthfully,
what I'm saying? It's not to bring them to the level that you want them to be or you to get to the level that they're at. It's about being able to be accountable to them as a friend. And if they tell you something, whether you agree with it or not, take it in and say, okay, what would ask the questions? What
I
more do you need from me? Because I thought I was doing that. Or if you realize, like I did today, that I wasn't, then my first
right,
question, hey, what do you need from me? What am I not doing?
but
And when she broke it down to me, I was able to say, okay, I got you. I got you.
I add to
You
that.
know,
I add
Exactly.
to that people have to be truthful.
yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you gauge? And I see what you're saying
My,
about
my,
that.
my, and it's not necessarily something that we as an individual have to gauge. If someone's
Mhm.
coming to us, and this is that part that they themselves will have to recognize because it's gonna fall back on that whole accountability and responsibility piece. If you're not giving the whole story, or if you're leaving out bits and pieces and parts, and you're kind of looking for somebody to fill the other pieces, you kind of fucked up. Um,
But
and
that's where that communication comes in. Like
right,
that's
and,
your
and that's
opportunity to
and,
say,
and
but
that's
are you telling me everything? Because I didn't realize it. That's
right.
when everybody in
So,
that conversation has got
and
to
so
be
that's my
accountable at
point.
that very moment.
We can question, we can ask all day long,
Hmm.
but some people just don't want to say it. They don't want to actually put out, hey, right, this is the problem. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's almost as if you know what I'm saying. For friends, sometimes friends got to be fucking detectives, and
That's true.
they necessarily shouldn't have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be forthcoming. And I know sometimes that shit is fucking hard, but people have to understand your friends slash family have lives that they're living. They
Right.
can read your mind. So
But it's
if
like a tune up. That
right,
communication is like a tune up.
like
When you have that level of communication, now you can say,
you
okay, I
feel it,
got you. Yeah, yeah.
feel it. Like, oh shit. Yeah, my engine is fucking knocking a little bit. Hey man, yeah,
Yeah.
nigga, you take that bitch in for a tune-up.
Right about that. So we definitely have to understand these things, and we as friends, as brothers, as a tribe, we have to be able to help our friends and brothers and tribe
Right.
when they're going through grief. We have to be able to understand what they're going through. We have to be able to know the way to help them. And if you don't know the way to help them, then you have to be able to just be
Ask.
there. Maybe
Yeah.
you're just an ear.
Right.
Maybe that's enough.
So
You have
Ray,
to understand these things.
Yeah.
So we gonna hit asses and glasses
Yeah, buddy.
because we got deep tonight. So we gonna hit. I should have said that. Mark gonna have something to say about that.
yeah,
We're gonna hit asses
Not in
and
the,
hey,
not over there in the dark
hey,
and not shit. Hell, he can
hey,
hear it, he can't
hey,
see it. Shit.
put that in the box.
Hell, he can.
This is our little boundary box.
Yeah, right in the box. Let's hit it. Ashes and glasses. So and glasses, this is the way we like to end the show. Everybody on the screen, Mark got to bring his ass back. We're all going to give a toast. If you got a toast in the comments, put it in the comments. We will read it out. Toast ain't got to be serious. Toast can be whatever you want the toast to be. So, with that being said, since Mark is looking the way he normally does in that black square and he's not on the screen, we're going to start with DJ.
Well, look, I'm gonna just bring some comedy and clarity. You know what I'm saying? So for my toast, because this was a deep topic, and I think sometimes we do need to lighten the mood. So I'm gonna give a toast up for Chevalier. May in the future that he wear a large shirt and shorts and not a medium to cut off circulation.
Cheers.
Cheers, nigga.
All right, Mark, you up.
Business never personal.
I don't think we can hear you.
EPMD in effect. Cats and checks.
We can't
Mike
hear you.
check. Hey, hello, Mark. So what you saying?
He can hear us. We can't hear him. That's fine. Chevalier, come on. While we let Mark figure out his technical difficulties over there.
Yeah. So first of all, this is a twofold toast.
It always is.
This toast goes out to the three of you guys, man, and what we've built together here on the lounge, man. I appreciate you guys for being my friends. Second of all, I want to toast to Mark and his much brighter light that all I need him to do is turn around so it shines on his face. Here's the y'all.
Cheers.
Can you motherfuckers hear me now?
Yes. Hey, Mark, look. Sun is shining.
He got the sun, but he went and got 100-watt light bulb and put it in that goddamn garage door opener.
No,
Hey, look, Mike,
He gonna burn the plastic off that garage door opener.
Mark's favorite song right now is "Shine Bright Like a Diamond."
Come on, Mark. What's your toast?
all right. Toast to all the good people out here who understand what grief is and how to handle it. And handle it in your own particular way. It's all a matter of your perspective and experiences. You can't base your grief or how you handle grief on what somebody else is telling you how to deal with it. They don't know. They're not you. So be you.
Be you. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you.
So my toast goes to us finally completing the level and unlocking Big Soul as a playable character. Cheers.
Cheers.
You motherfuckers, man.
Yeah. Hey, yo, can I finally get him in Marvel Contest of Champions?
You can finally get him in Marvel Contest of Champions. You can play as the Big Soul right now.
Look, you already know he gonna be like this with a turntable.
Cigar Contest of Champions.
And look,
now
he
as
gonna be throwing records and smoking cigars.
That make me choke.
Hey, I tell you what, I'm gonna throw another toast in there because I see we got a couple people joined us at the end. Here's a toast to Smoking Sarah for her birthday yesterday. Thank you, Sarah, for always being a voice, a real voice on the lounge. And our boy Rob from Traveling Cigars jumped in. Here's a toast to you for just being you, brother. Thank y'all for supporting us.
Yeah.
I
Jeez.
got. Well, I'm not gonna make that announcement yet.
Don't do
I'm
it.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it
No,
later.
don't do it.
Don't
Do
do
it
it.
later. Do it later.
Do it later.
And thank y'all for supporting Conversations with Chevalier last night. I think I
Yeah,
seen
man.
just about everybody jump in that bad fella last night, and
We
Yeah,
glad you
I
I
found
jumped
us.
promise
in.
y'all there's gonna be
I jumped
some
in.
better shows
You know what I'm
coming
saying?
in the
On and
future.
off.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's gonna be some. I got some really interesting guests coming up. I lined out a few over the next 6 weeks, and you
Right.
guys are you really gonna like what you see. I'll tell
I
you that.
want to thank y'all for also supporting the Herfordor Lounge.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
two
What's
latest
that?
episodes are live on YouTube right now. You can go and watch them. Please go watch them. Please
On
go watch
YouTube.
them.
What's that?
Watch it. Watch at least 15 seconds so I get the view. At least 15 seconds, and like
Got it.
you know,
Did you say on FunTube or YouTube? What'd you say?
on
What
YouTube.
is fun to?
I don't know
I
what
don't
What
know.
is
FunTube is. I
what is
don't know.
fun to?
Uh,
That
I'm,
sounds smoking Sarah.
Hey,
we're gonna put
hey, hey.
FunTube goes
Whoa.
in the box.
This is our little boundary box.
Look, look. I don't even got no boundary box, but I'm gonna make one real quick.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
Pull it
okay.
up to the oh
Okay.
shit.
We can't read that shit. What that say?
I know. It's Greek.
This motherfucker. Put his ass man.